In this video, we're going to look at inserting data into our tables. So let's start by looking at the table we're going to work with. I'm going to do a select star from production dot unit measure. And let's see what's in this table. All right, so we have these different ways that they measure all the different units for their inventory. So they can, CS stands for case, DM is a decimeter, DZ for a dozen, IN for an inch, kg for kilogram. So we're going to insert some items into this table. So let's do an insert statement. So insert statements will look like this. Insert into, and at this point, excuse me, we have to tell the table that we're going to insert into. Okay. And then inside some parentheses, we have to tell it the columns we want to insert into. So unit measure code, name, and modified date are the columns we want to change the data in. Then after that, we put the keyword values. And then in another set of parentheses, we specify the values we want to insert into each one of these columns. So I want to put one in for feet. Okay. And its name will be feet. So the abbreviation is FT, the full name is feet, and then our modified date, we are going to stick in, what's 2021 January 5th. So the year, 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and close parentheses. All right, so this statement will take this value and insert it into that column, this value, insert it to that column, and this value, and put it in the modified date column. So let's execute this. One row affected. If we go back and do the select statement again, we scroll down and we can see feet right here. Feet, and then our date, 2021-01-05. Pretty simple. Now, let's do it again. We violated a primary key constraint. So that unit measure code, if we pull up our tables, production dot unit measure columns, we can see that the unit measure code is the primary key, so there can never be a duplicate. So by trying to stick this in again, we've created a duplicate row, and we know we can't have duplicate rows. Primary keys take care of that problem for us. So I can't run that statement more than once. Now, I could put another row in with different values. That's no problem at all. Let's do another one, and I want to show you a couple more things. Let's switch name to the beginning. And then the unit measure code, right? So I need to make it match. I'm going to put miles here. And I'm going to put MLS for the abbreviation. Actually, MI is the abbreviation. I wonder if there's already an MI in there. For some reason in my notes I had MLS, so I'm going to go with MLS for miles. these have to correspond. The first value is going to go in the first one. This one, the second value, will go into the second column we specified. So they don't have to be in the same order that they are in the actual table. Okay, as long as we align them first to first, second to second, third to third, it will work just fine. Okay, one row affected. I can scroll down here and I can see MLS. There is no MI for miles, so I could have used it. I want to show you one other thing. Let's switch this back. I'm going to do an MI. This stands for miles, even though we probably shouldn't, because it's confusing to have two of them with the same name. I'm going to do it because I want to show you something. I'm going to take away the line that specifies our columns. Okay. I'm going to hit execute. Oop, better highlight it first. It says I have a duplicate. Let me see what's going on here. I don't see an MI anywhere. It says I have a duplicate. I believe maybe they have a unique constraint on miles. So let's just MI for mile and try it. There it worked. There it worked. So now if I go back, so notice I didn't put the column names. Now that only works if I am doing things in the exact order of the columns. So unit measure code first, name second, modify date third. It's not really good if you're just doing a quick command on your system and you know the order. That's not a bad, terrible thing to do. If you're doing it in your code, however, especially if you're doing web applications, there's security reasons why you want to list the columns along with the values. Okay, so don't leave that out when you're doing it in a hard-coded application. But if you're doing something real quick on the fly inside the management studio here, it's perfectly okay to do it as long as you do them in the correct order. It will work without specifying the columns. Let's run this so we can look at it. There's my MI for miles, for mile. One last thing on insert. We can specify multiple rows of values here. So I'm not going to type a bunch of them, but if I want to insert multiple values, I can do that. The only thing you need to remember when you do that is that you do need to separate each row with a comma as well. So each row is in its own set of parentheses, and separate each row with a comma. Now this one wouldn't work obviously because I can't insert duplicate data, but you get the idea. I could do 3 rows at a time if I went through and changed these to values that didn't already exist.